I am so thankful that I was saved from a life of wealth and privilege to be a college president. Right? You know, there clearly is no new Range Rover in my life, but there's joy in my life. There is purpose in my life, and for that I am eternally grateful.
Faced with a career-defining choice, Dr. Michael Sorrell stepped away from being the president of an NBA team and instead took a job as the president of Paul Quinn College, an historic HBCU that was on the verge of permanent closure.
I was part of a group that was going to purchase the Memphis Grizzlies. I was going to be president of the franchise and part owner of the franchise. I was on my way to the Range Rover phase of my life, okay? And I'm driving down the highway to scout Kevin Durant, and the new bishop, the new chair of the board, calls and says, hey, how would you like to be president of Paul Quinn? I'm like, only 75 people have turned you down before you called me, right? I said, thank you, I am honored, but we're buying a basketball team in Memphis. I'm gonna get to be president. I have no idea what you're gonna pay me, but they're gonna pay me more, right? So I take this job, and I am overwhelmed by the magnitude of loving Pell Grant students, right? Because that's what you do. You love the people you are dreaming for. And if you don't, you gotta find some new people. You should never lead people you cannot love.
Dr. Sorrell's career-defining risk propelled him into being named one of Fortune magazine's World's 50 Greatest Leaders and one of Time magazine's 31 People Changing the South.
The first week, I take one look at the budget and realize we can't afford football. So I'm like, I cut the football team. And they lose it, right? They're like, all the money we make for the school. Slow down, partner. You cost us $1 million a year. And so then, like, some of them wanted to intimidate me, right? And you know, look, I'm not a little guy, but let me just say this. If the college president is bigger than your offensive lineman, maybe we don't need to be playing football, all right? All right?
Dr. Sorrell inspires audiences to also take a leap of faith by sharing his own success stories, like transforming Paul Quinn's defunct football field into a farm to feed students and its community. A success story that made national news.
We didn't have any idea what we were doing. Full disclosure, we wound up with a farm with no real irrigation system. So that first year we were out there with hoses. It was hot as hell, all right? But here's what we did have. We had righteous rage, and we were unafraid to fail in the service of people who needed us. Here's the thing, that farm saved our school. It changed how people saw us. We no longer were like, can you help us? We became, we can help you. And the change of a few degrees changed everything. And it has served as a source of pride to our community and a rallying point, because it should have never worked, right? It should have never worked. And the fact that it did work serves as inspiration of what's possible if you try.